Hello my brothers and sisters, this is Enemy Stand User here and welcome to another chapter of Chainsaw Man Part 2. So far I am really loving what Fujimoto is setting up in Part 2 and his use and the importance of the actual Chainsaw Man. We've been in a bit of a rough patch with Part 2 lately and people argue that it's too slow, it's too boring, too much of a slow burn, or they just don't care enough about the characters. Because this is a very different part than Part 1 and I saw so many takes that Fujimoto is losing his touch and that could not be farther from the truth. In the current situation with Part 2, Denji is faced with a dilemma of living a normal life versus living as the famous Chainsaw Man, and he cannot do both without messing up the other. Recently, we've seen the dramatic impact of Chainsaw Man. He is the hot topic among the media and the people and literally worshipped like a god. But there's also a side of Denji that is exposed, and like we saw from the last chapters and before, for people who know that Denji is Chainsaw Man, they want to keep an eye on him like the Public Safety Division or the Chainsaw Man Church wants to draw out that Chainsaw Man, even if it means mass murder. They're crazy about him. This is not only an invasion of Denji's privacy, but this constant pressure in his life, it's almost like it's trying to draw that Chainsaw Man out even more. Like Denji cannot get away from it. Denji just wants to have a happy life with Nayuta and live normally, but everyone's on his back. And I did appreciate last chapter, Fumiko opening up to Denji because she feels the slightest bit of resentment toward him when Chainsaw Man didn't save her parents from the Gun Devil Fiend. And let's be honest, a lot of fans have been kind of hating on Fumiko for obvious reasons, but we do get an interesting perspective on that dramatic day because even when Chainsaw Man didn't save her family, she saw Denji crying and realized Chainsaw Man was just like a kid. So she became a huge Denji fan and she saw him for what he really was. Now, Fumiko is still mad sus given her intentions with Denji, but I think it's really cool that she likes Denji for Denji. And then we turn a complete 180 and now we have people like Barum saying that he is a Chainsaw Man fan. When Barum describes what he wants to see from Denji, it's that classic Chainsaw Man covered in guts and blood, getting in fights, suffering and struggling and dying and reviving, all to do it all over again. And it almost feels like Fujimoto is talking to us because a lot of fans want to see that side of Denji. That's probably what they read Chainsaw Man for, but now the Church of Chainsaw Man forces Denji into that dilemma, and that is kind of what Part 2 is about. In the newest chapter, Barum and the weapon hybrids snuck past security and they want to do a sort of devil terrorist attack to get Chainsaw Man's attention. It's pretty dark because there are women and children around, so the hybrids, including the Whip Devil hybrid, the Lance Devil, and Miri, the Sword Devil hybrid, were all assigned to cause chaos by killing people violently. The Lance hybrid makes this clear and calls out that they need to cause as much panic as possible, so they will target women and children specifically and also go for their limbs just to get them screaming. Obviously right now it seems the Whip Lady and the Lance Devil hybrid are just okay with mass murdering women and children, but Miri is kind of like, this is effed up. They reaffirm their beliefs by calling this attack a message from God. Even Miri tries to convince himself. But from what we know, Miri is trying to be his own person and he's kind of on the fence about how he uses his freedom. Like, is he really going to kill these people? So he says he's loaning his body just for a little bit. But before the clock strikes 5 and the squad is all ready to go, all of a sudden, Quan Chi then shows up and slices all 3 hybrids to interrupt their transformation. However, Miri manages to fire his off to get into his hybrid form, to which Quan Chi absolutely no-divs him, cuts off his head, and saves everybody. She then calls it in, and by now I'm certain, first of all, she was absolutely badass, and second, she is definitely working for the Public Safety Division, which is cool. But what's more exciting is that they're going to be sending in Special Division 7, which is the same division as Yoshida and Fumiko, and I'd also bet if a special division was in place, then they would have more fiends or hybrids like Katana Man or Rize. That would actually be awesome if they were to use those hybrids that way, and if they were all on the same side. And I'm certain we can see them as soon as next chapter. The media now recognizes the Chainsawman Church group as a terrorist organization, and inside the building, some of the members are worried about the building going to be searched, and a particular member is worried if they're going to search the weapons in the basement. Even Haruka doesn't know what's going on about the weapons or anything, so he asks about it, and the old man tries to play it off and tell Haruka he doesn't know anything either. The thing that irks me about this situation is, why is this old man around when the church mainly consists of students and young people? But also, really, why Haruka, the founder, wouldn't know about the weapons in the basement? Because it seems like Haruka is actually trying to lead the Chainsaw Man religion, but he is the face of it. Under it all, it might just actually be a terrorist group who serve some unknown means, and beyond that, something else influences them besides Fami, because we know Fami is the one pulling the strings. She is the brains of the operation behind the Chainsaw Man Church, but there is something else out there that has even more influence, or has just as much influence as Fami. But besides that, with the weapons, they are actually immortal, so it looks like they never age. And I mean, with the Whip Girl, she said she was almost 82 years old, and Quan Chi herself grew up with Kusakabe and still looks like this. So it's safe to say that they never really age, but we should also know that the hybrids do not die either, so they have to contain these weapons somehow, or find a way to stop these hybrids, which is where the special division comes in. It would actually be quite funny or interesting to see Barham's reaction to seeing public safety interfere. Overall, it's definitely going down. I expected the hybrids to go on a massacre this week and force Denji to change into Chainsaw Man, but it seems like this beef between public safety and the Chainsaw Man Church gets pretty serious, especially considering that they got Quan Chi on their side along with God know who or what. It almost seems like a sort of war, but I pray that we're going to see returning characters like Rize and Katana Guy, and I think it'd be really cool to know what's going on with them, but this was a really nice chapter. We got some good stuff to look forward to. I hope you awesome guys enjoyed this chapter. Chainsaw Man Part 2 is definitely taking all kinds of different directions, but if you really pay attention to it, then you see how the characters like Denji develop and the impact of the actual Chainsaw Man, whether we see him or not. But comment below what you guys think of the chapter, and make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. This has been Enemy Stand User, and I'll see you awesome guys in the next one. Bye-bye.